Good afternoon. How do you possess the God like power to manufacture more time and more money seemingly out of the thin air? How do you do that? You do it through systems. Starting to build the right systems can ultimately set you free towards the journey of your success. So, learn the power of building systems. Countless business owners complain about the lack of control or freedom they have. Yet, in the same breath, they discount the value of a well designed and in place systems. Whether or not you own a business or a CEO of a company, you are the CEO of your life, particularly your productive life. So I will use the framework from the book E Myth by Michael Gilbert to explain this concept today. There are three unique skill sets to run a business, he writes. Number one, the technician. Two, the manager. Three, the entrepreneur. So these are the three core components of any business. If you start from a new startup to a well established business. The technician supplies the output, the manager supplies the order for the business, and the entrepreneur supplies the vision and the direction to the business. While we all start out as technicians, the failure to do business comes from never advancing ourselves into the role of entrepreneur and installing the appropriate manager and technician to run the businesses so that the business can effectively run without the labor of the entrepreneur. That's where the failure of the businesses take place in most of the cases. Are you following me on this? This is the really important side of it. When we start out, we are usually 10% entrepreneur, 20% manager, and 70% technician. That's how most of the people, most of the startups, they start up like that. If you learn how to hire a team, delegate tasks to them, and create a few systems, you can get to what I would say is 33%, 33%, 33%. And this is the height most businesses and business owners ever get to. And you might find some level of success there, but you'll be running yourself raged and you will be become stressed out and vulnerable to failure. And this is how most relatively successful people operate and live by. To really thrive in your life, to really thrive in your business, you have to get at least the minimum time allocation of 70% entrepreneur, 20% manager, and 10% technician. Those that you see at the top of their fields, this is how they operate. Now, those whom you look up to almost godlike in their productive output, people like Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Ratan Tata, and others. They have figured out to be nearly all entrepreneur, spending zero time managing or supplying the technician output. Richard Branson, he has more than 400 companies that operate 100% without him. How? How is that possible? How can a mere mortal like Richard Branson own and operate over 400 companies? You would ask. How is that? How is that possible? When you might be struggling to keep up with just one company. Well, I will tell you. how he does that. A. He leverages the eighth wonder of the world to compound his time investment. He will allocate a significant chunk of his calendar for a short window of time, usually 30 to 90 days, to help launch a new company or a new project. And then he will pull back, stop being involved as a technician, and reap the compound interest for years to come as the owner slash entrepreneur. That's the number one. B. He is a master delegator with over 71,000 employees worldwide for him in the company. He is able to move from technician straight to entrepreneur because he installs and delegates great managers into each of the companies and then gives them autonomy to grow the businesses, each of the business. C, he can give them that autonomy because he has built his virgin brand of companies around building and using excellent systems. And with excellent systems providing God wills and guidance to the managers, he is free to liberate himself from the process of entirely allowing him to spend most of his time on his private island swimming, desking, wakeboarding. Brilliant, as you would say. You see how all this works together now. The bottom line is on this is that this you will manufacture more time and money by moving up the ladder from technician to entrepreneur. Or even if you work within a company from technician to leader. Now you start out most endeavors as a technician. Even Richard Branson started as a technician, supplying the majority of the productive output. You want to quickly graduate into the manager role. And you want to systemize everything that you possibly can in order to increase your time spent as a visionary leader or an entrepreneur. For every hour that you spend building a system, it will forever after that manufacture for you many more hours you did not have before, day after day, month after month, year after year. It's estimated that you and every person in your business spend at least 40% of their day performing recurring tasks. If you build a system to perform any of those tasks, you can either eliminate the direct involvement of you or your team, or at least cut the time demand on all of by half. Everywhere you look, everything you do can be turned into a system. How you write and publish a blog can be turned into a system. How you create, edit, publish, and promote a video can become a system. How you prepare for a meeting, process conference calls, manage social media, almost everything you do can be systemized. The more you systemize, the more time and subsequently money you manufacture. Here are today some places where to look to systemize. The 10 most recurring functions you perform each day, each week. The 10 most time consuming tasks you perform. The 10 most stressful tasks that you have to perform. The 10 most important functions that you perform. The 10 most unimportant functions that you perform. And the 10 tasks that you hate having to do. Then spend some time turning each into a system. You can likely cut the time you and your team spend on the trivial task by 50%, which means you can reallocate that time to vital outputs. And those vital outputs, multiplied by times two, compounded over time, translate into a massive, massive difference in result, impact, and sanity. And there you have many now have the God-like productive superpower of many of those that you admire. I only ask that you use this supernatural power as a force for good in the world. The world needs more of your productive, positive impact.